This week's episode is an oldie but a goodie. This is one that is actually from my Your Time Now days of the podcast. But I am talking about psychometrics and how they can help you understand yourself better. And the reason I've pulled this one out is because I've been doing a lot of work around this lately, and I know how game changing it can be. Plus, I'm adding an additional offering to the business where I can actually do personality profile for you through Clarity4D, which is a tool that I've been using for the last 4 years and is incredible. So enjoy this podcast. I hope it helps you enlighten yourself on who you are. And please share with me in the Facebook group about what it's brought up for you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast. I'm your host, Rachel, and this week I want to blend my two worlds. So if you know anything about me, I am a leadership coach by day. That is what I do in my corporate world. And by night and sideline, I am a mindset and intuitive life coach. So two worlds totally far out, but so blended together in many different ways. And I want to tell you how both of them have really shaped me and really pushed me forward. And I am so passionate about blending the two because for me, when you're starting on your transformation journey, which is all I do, everything I do with Your Time Now and really helping women to tap into who they are, that's all about transformation. But the issue with that is we've got to know the basics of who we are and understand how we tick and how we work. Now, I've been mentioning different things lately around the shadow side and different things that are coming up, but I want to go into it a little bit more in this episode and really show you how it all pulls together, and also how things like psychometric tests can really help you discover a bit more about you. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I don't like to be put in a box. Myers-Briggs, it just pops you in a box. And yes, it does, but it also gives you so much insight into who you are and how you tick. So if you have never done a psychometric test, oh my God, get involved. I have put a link to a personality test in the show notes. Go on it. It's a free test. It'll give you your Myers-Briggs score. It'll look at your 16 personalities. And it is so accurate. It is amazing. It will blow your mind. And this is what I do with all of my leadership clients in my corporate world. So I work with leaders. I get them to understand who they are, how they tick, how they work, and then get them to recognize how they use that skill in their teams. So how they understand their team members, how they understand how other people work, so that they can get the best from them and also support them in the best ways. And this learning I use in my own relationship. This has changed my life when it comes to my relationship. And I think saved it. And I'll explain that a bit more, but I'll run through some of the basics and hopefully you can see where I'm coming from and see how it makes sense. So when you're doing any form of personality test, they kind of look at the four areas. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Are you thinking? Are you feeling? Where's it all coming from? And when you look at introvert, extrovert, people get so hung up on whether you're socially bold, whether you'll speak your mind, whether you're out there and it's all jazz hands and sparkly stuff like I am, because you can tell I'm extroverted. But it's not about that. When you look at introvert, extrovert, one of the key principles around that is where do you get your energy from? And I think this is a basic principle everybody needs to understand so that they can live their life to the max. This is how you get your energy. And when we're talking about law of attraction, I always talk about your energy. I always talk about your vibration. So if you don't even understand where you get your energy from, how are you going to move forward in manifesting the life of your dreams? So are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? An introvert very much gets their energy from themselves. They need that bit of time to go and reflect. They need the bit of time to go and recharge their batteries. And that is alone. That is completely alone. So not looking on the phone and scrolling through all the social media, because that is people interacting. It is going and having a bath and relaxing, or just reading a book, or doing something that's going to recharge you from within. So if you didn't know this and you're an introvert and you're not giving yourself time to recharge away from people every single day, imagine how depleted you are. So when you look at, I'm anxious, I'm worried, I'm feeling overwhelmed, have you rested? So for all you mothers out there who are homeschooling, surrounded by your kids, trying to work from home, doing Zoom calls, team calls, there's meetings everywhere, all this stuff will be blowing your mind, but also frazzling your energy. So when are you getting your time to go and rest and recharge? Because if you're not getting that and you're not getting it every single day, you are going to be frazzled. So anyone who is listening to this who is anxious, overwhelmed, worry, my first question to you would be, are you recharging your batteries? Because if you're not, then you're going to continue on this cycle. Your self-care has to be a priority, and you are okay to tell your husband, partner, wife, whoever, that this is what you need as part of your daily routine, and it is a non-negotiable, because you have to be the best energetically for everyone around you. That is the only way you can function. That is the only way you can have a positive life. If you think overwhelm, stress and worry is going to get you through to have a positive life, you're not. It's all about your energy. So start recharging, start looking after your energy, your one source of energy. Again, if you're extroverted, you get your energy from being around people. If you're working from home and feeling very isolated, very lonely, that is going to be draining you. You are not going to be feeling your best, and you are not going to be putting your best foot forward. So you need to be interacting. You need to get this energy. And for me, I worried about not being in an office, whether I would struggle being away from people. But Zoom, Teams, everything like that, social media has given me the energy from people that I need. So that has not been an issue. So don't sit there as an extrovert thinking, oh, I'll do it when lockdown's finished. I'll do it when lockdown's finished. Your energy is just as important. You need to be recharging by being around conversations, buzz, life. So get your friends on a Zoom call, get a wine in your hand, start having that interaction, start having that fun, because you need that. You crave that. So again, if you're not recharging your energy with this and you're feeling low at the minute, then have a look at, am I in the right place for where my energy is and where I need to get it from? So like I said, this has massively changed my relationship, because I am extroverted. Mike is an introvert. I have never been in a relationship. Well, I think I have, but I didn't understand them as much. But never been in a relationship with somebody as introverted as Mike. So initially, when he wanted that bit of time on his own, I would think, what have I done? What's wrong? Why has he gone quiet? Why is he not really speaking? What's this about? He wants like an hour just to do nothing. This is weird. I don't understand it. Well, it's obviously something about me. It's obviously something I've done wrong. You know, what's going on here? And if I hadn't have understood this could have been a huge shift in our relationship, because he couldn't give that up and I couldn't understand it. And because he wasn't coming from a place of, I need this from an introvert, he just couldn't explain it to me. So it was only when I understood that he is a massive introvert and he needs this time for him, and I'm an extrovert, so I just need to not take it personally, because it's not about me, it's about him recharging. So when he's like that, I just let that be now. I just let him regulate his own energy. I don't get involved in it. I don't meddle in it. I don't try and fix anything, because they don't need to be fixed. They just need some time on their own. And I just let that be. And it has really shifted not only my mindset, because I help all my clients with this now, but in our relationship, that would have been a breaker. If I didn't get my head around why he was doing that, I would have thought he was distant, aloof, And it could have really stirred things up and ruined things. But actually, I've got my head around it and it makes perfect sense. And I'm more than happy with that now, because I'm happy to be on my own as well. So I just take that time and go and enjoy it. But the big thing is, I do not try and regulate his energy for him. If he's in a mood, if he's had too much at work, which often, so if he's had a bad day at work and he's stressed because he's had to deal with people all day long, which is very draining to him, he can be ratty, he can be quite annoying because he doesn't know how to regulate his energy. He obviously just outsources it on people like we all do. But for me, I just put my barrier up, I put my shield up, and I let him go and regulate his own. It's for him to just have his little blast, whatever he needs to do, go and have a half an hour to chill and then get it sorted. And that's not for me to have any part of. He's the adult. He takes responsibility of that. And if he tries to put it on me because he's stressed, I just push it back, which is honestly a game changer. I used to take on all my ex-husband's energy. I used to try and regulate it. I used to try and make him feel better. And now I'm just like, it's yours. You handle your energy, I handle mine. That is how this works. And this is why it's so key for you to understand where you get your energy from. Where are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Because other things that can come up, and I want to share this with you because I feel it helps you massively, but it also helps people around you and people who are in your family. So think about an introvert, how they work. They think, they analyze, they take everything internal. So it's all about their internal world. So when they're doing things, they will think, do, think. That is their process. They will think it to death, then possibly do something, and then think it to death again. Whereas an extroverted person will do, think, do. Now, can you see the difference in how these two worlds will clash? So for me, I just say things, I speak my thoughts out loud. I don't tend to, I am quite tactful, but often in a home environment, I'll just be chatting my thoughts out loud and not really think much around what I'm saying. Mike will look at me like I have three heads, as if to say, why have you just said that? Did you not think about it before it come out your mouth? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I did not think about it because that's not how my brain works. So if you guys are in this situation and you're living with an extrovert and you could be an introvert, give them a bit of leeway. They don't always think about what they say. They often do the thinking afterwards. The saying and the doing is just a habit and it just comes out and it's just what they're like. That comes first. The thinking and the analysing comes afterwards. Now, I've had this conversation with a few introverts and I feel that they struggle to see this. They can't see the logic in it because they are so used to over-analysing everything, even the words before they come out of their mouth, that they think, how can you even just do that? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But it's just the magic of different people. And when you blend this magic together, it's amazing. But you've got to understand where other people are coming from. And you've got to understand the different ways in which we all work and the way in which you work. So often if you're extroverted, you might be doing things that might be annoying people around you because they're thinking, why have you not thought this through? Why have you not, done a bit of research, a bit of analysis? Because you're just impulsive. That is the way that you are. So let it be. Don't overanalyze everything you've done because you might have made a mistake by jumping in with 2 feet. We learn from our mistakes. They're just results at the end of the day. But understand who you are and how you act. And by doing that, you're going to get a real sense of how you can move forward. So if you're, as well, these psychometrics look at whether you're in a thinking frame of mind or a feeling, which way you come from, which way you make your decisions. So if you're thinking, you're very data-driven, you want analysis, you're very objective, you probably read the reviews on Amazon over everything that you buy, this type of thing. If you're feeling, you're very emotionally driven, you're people focused, you're subjective. So for me, I'm very much on the feeling scale, as you might tell. So I know this will work. I know it. I've got this gut feeling. I trust it. I can see it. I know it could work. For an introvert or a thinking person, they are going to be drove mad by that. They're going to be like, give me the analysis. How the hell do you know this is going to work? Really? And I'm like, it just will. Trust me, it will. And this is how you get to know people. So if you've got kids, if you've got partners, and all of this stuff is creeping up, start to get to know the personalities, start to get to know what is going on under that hood. How are they ticking? Honestly, it is a huge game changer. And like I said, I do this in my leadership coaching at work, and it changes people not just at work, but also at home. Because the more you get to know yourself, the more you get to know how you tick and everybody around you ticks, the better communication you can have, the more honest you can be, the more yourself you can be. Because if you're trying to fit into someone else's world or someone else's view of the world, this is how we become conditioned. We're always trying to fit in to what other people think we should be, rather than understanding who we are and what we want and how we tick. And for me, there's been loads of psychometrics that have helped with this. I know in America they use Myers-Briggs all of the time. Jen, my friend, introduced me to Enneagrams, which are amazing as well. Over here in the UK, I use Clarity4D, which is the Carl Jung's way of looking at it, of the 4 colours. So if anybody's looked into that, that's amazing. But the 16 personalities one that I've gives you the insight, and it gives you also what type of careers you enjoy, what type of stuff you like to do. And it's an eye-opener. When you see it in black and white, it can really help you. And also what I've found is doing human design. So human design, it's like a psychometric for your soul. But for me, it opened my eyes to how I interact with others and how they interact with me. And also that being my type, which is a manifesting generator, it's okay to change my mind. Now, all the psychometrics I've seen, where you're animated, lively, that type of thing, that's my type of environment. But I've always struggled because I've always got into a job at work and thought, this job's amazing. This is the job I love. I love to do it. And then a couple of years down the line, I would be bored shitless. I would be like, I can't do this job anymore. I feel so stuck. I feel just, I need to get out of it. I don't like anybody around me. Like everything was, it would get that bad. And it would just be because I'd done my time there. As a manifesting generator, I need to move on. I need to go and learn something else, and I need to learn things quick, master it, and move on. And that is the way I work. And that was huge for me to find out that is okay. That I just thought this was a massive soul lesson that kept coming round, and I was missing the point. And it was like, when am I going to learn this lesson? Well, I've learned it now because I am okay to change my mind. So over the years, I have done so much self-development and trying to understand how I tick. And that is both all my positive attributes, but also my negative attributes. Because if you don't understand them, then you don't really know how to master yourself. So when you look at my personality type, if you were looking at Myers-Briggs or Carl Jung or anything like that, I'm very much a yellow. So I'm all about extroversion, feeling, sensing, that type of thing. I'm not into thinking, analysing, judging, all of that. I don't want any detail. That isn't me. So for me, when I'm in my good energy space, and this is a really good indicator to see where you are in your energy, because if your derailers are coming out, then your energy is off. So thinking about this, if I'm animated, lively, engaging, optimistic, entertaining, articulate, creative, persuasive, friendly, and spirited, I am in my best self. That is me. My energy is high vibe. That is what's happening. I am in a good place. But on the flip side of my personality, I could be exaggerating, self-promoting, unrestrained, impulsive, selfish, frantic. I can be very frantic sometimes, showy, noisy, and tactless. So these are things that if I start to notice, I know my energy's out of alignment. I know things are off. And I went on my Facebook Live in the group. If you're not part of the free Facebook group, I go in there live and I share loads about me and what's going on. So if you're not part of that, I'll put a link in the show notes to join as well. It is an amazing group. It's so supportive. But I did do a live because the energy with the full moon really knocked me off kilter. It was bringing everything up, all of my past habits, all of my past recurring patterns that I've moved to shift. It was bringing all of them up for me, and I was becoming frantic. So the fact that I know that frantic is one of my derailers, that is one of the things that is a negative side of me that isn't good and will come out when I am off center, when I am not in alignment, that was a massive trigger for me to go, right, what is going on? What is happening? And actually, when I assessed it, I was like, I don't need to act frantic here. I can put the brakes on and I can start to look around me. And what was happening around me? We had the full moon on the Thursday. And so the full moon is on the 28th of January. And that is what's happening. The full moon is bringing up all of the energy that you need to let go of, all of these old patterns, all of these old ways of acting. And what it's doing is the couple of days before it's bringing them to the surface. It's making you feel them so that you can then release them. But when you're feeling them and when you're in it, you get frantic and you get in that space of, I'm not good enough. Everything's out of alignment. I don't know what's happening. I feel out of control. And you just go in overdrive. But for me now, because I understand that is my derailer, that is something that isn't in alignment with who I really am. This is my dark side, my shadow side coming out. I was able to spot it. And that is true mastery. When you think of that, when you're not just in the chaotic mind and listening to your ego, but you can understand that it's part of your negative self coming up for a reason, and you can actually not judge it, just analyze it properly. How free would you be then? How freeing would that be? So when you think of people who are extroverted, but they're on the thinking side of things, they can be really passionate, they can be proactive, they can be direct, they can be bold, they can be striving, forthright. But on the negative side of that, if you've got somebody in that camp, they can be arrogant, they can be controlling, they can be domineering. So again, when these traits come out of you, what is it saying? How are you off center? If you're being hot-tempered, inconsiderate, reckless, what is happening? What is going on? And this is the power of understanding your shadow side and understanding all parts of your personality, because it's not that they're bad. They're just coming up to show you something. So when the negative side comes in and the shadow side comes in, what is it telling you? Is it telling you you need to have rest? Is it telling you you've not been looking after your energy? Or is it telling you that your outside sources need a bit of work? You maybe need to set some boundaries. You maybe need to set your priorities back in order. Are you out of alignment with what you're doing, where you want to be going? Because that will knock you off center. So it's really powerful to start understanding who you are, how you tick, and where you get your energy from. Because if you don't know the basics of where you get your energy from, how are you then going to promote your energy and get your energy on a higher vibration to attract in what you want and what you want to manifest? So I cannot stress this enough. You need to understand the basics of you. You need to understand the basics of your energy. You need to understand the basics of how your mind works. What patterns do you have in place? What conditioning have you processed into your mind? So these patterns, the way that you think, they're all patterns, they're all habits, they're all things that we go back to, they're all rituals. How do they work for you? And are they working for you or are they working against you? So if you're worrying all the time, that is a habit. It's not a way of being. It's not a personality type. It is a habit. It is that you have focused your attention on constantly trying to solve a problem. And you've created this problem. And by doing this analysing, you are constantly trying to solve the problem. But actually, what you're not seeing is that if you stop thinking of the problem and take a bit of rest, often you can see the solution a lot more clearly. So really, I've put the 16 personalities link in the show notes. That could be a start. I am also doing a masterclass with Becca Daly, who was on my podcast, I think quite a few episodes ago now. So if you search back, she's on there. So Becca Daly did a part 1 and a part 2. There was 2 episodes on human design and they were amazing. She shared so much insight into human design, which if you want to look at it from a more spiritual point of view, it's an ideal, skill to use. Plus, what she's going to do this masterclass for me. So on the 11th of February, we're going to do a masterclass together. Everyone who's in the membership gets it for free. So that's your monthly masterclass in the membership. And other people can buy access to this masterclass as well. So if you want to join a 2-hour workshop on human design to try and understand yourself a little bit better, that's another option too. So there is so much out there. There's so much free information available. And often we do these tests at work and we think, oh, our boss is just trying a new thing out. They're just trying to, see what's happening. Buy into it. I do this as a living. In my corporate world, this is what I do. I get everybody doing these. I coach them. I get them to understand what it means. I get them to understand how to use it. I get them to have better relationships with their team members. I get them to know how to motivate their team members better. I get the team members to be happier and more inspired in themselves because they understand themselves more. It is powerful. It is such powerful work. And you can have access to this by just doing the reports yourself, but it'll give you so much insight. But what I do as a coach, I talk people through it as well. I get them to understand where they're coming from. I get them to understand where they're ticking from and what's actually part of your personality and what's part of your conditioning, because that's a huge factor. I've got one of my best friends is an ENFP. So basically that means introverted, feeling, intuitive, percepting, which you're not an overanalyzer, you're not in the thinking camp, you're purely where I am. I am an ENFP. I am all about extroverted, feeling, intuitive, really big sky thinking, that type of thing, a bit of a visionary, you would say. That is that type of personality. Now, my friend who is the same personality has seen herself in the J camp for years, which basically means thinking, over-analysing, detail-driven. And it's because she has conditioned herself to think that she is this person. She has mastered the skill of over-analysing, worrying, doing all these things, but they're not actually her personality type. They're not where she fits. They're not where her heart actually tells her to be. But because she's got into that frame of mind of this is what I do, this is what I'm good at, she thinks that's her personality. And it's not. She's just developed a skill in that area and it's become conditioning because she feels that she has to be that person, but it's not who she truly is. So really, there could be things that you've conditioned yourself to think and conditioned yourself to be that doesn't sit right with you, and you will feel so far out of alignment. And that is why you'll be listening to my podcast, because you're like, there's just something more for me, which I always say, there's always that niggle, isn't there? There's always that bit more. Well, this is a real way, a tangible way, a bit more than my fluffy fairy tap into your heart and see where you're coming from way, because that is my I am intuitive. That is what I do. But for all you thinkers out there who need a bit more detail driven, who need a bit more research and analysis behind it, it gives you an insight with all of the science and the psychology backed up into it. So you get a bit more than my fluffy words, but they just work. This is a little bit more tangible for you. So for honestly, everyone will get something out of it if you just start. Even if you start to think, I am an introvert, I need to recharge every single day. And I do not need to feel guilty for doing it. There is no guilt or shame in you going and recharging your energy. And that is an actual rule, not a condition of your relationship with your partner. This is a must. If you're introverted, you need to recharge alone. You go in the bath, you lock the door, you do not feel guilty one little bit. If you're extroverted and you're not getting that people interaction, you need to make that happen. You need to start getting into groups. You need to start chatting to people. You need to get on FaceTime with your friends. Whatever it is that gives you that buzz, you need to get that as well. And again, if your partner is introverted, they need to give you a bit of time to chat. They need to give you a bit of time just to have a silly, daft conversation that is going to lift you up. And this is partnership. This is how you become the best of each other. So I hope even that bit has helped you, because I know when I talk about introvert, extrovert, people are like, God, that blew my mind. Like, I didn't even know that. And everybody just thinks, are you shy or are you outgoing? And it's really not about that. An introvert can be very outgoing. They can be very comfortable in an environment speaking on a stage, as long as they know what they're going to say and they give themselves time to prepare and charge for it and recharge afterwards, they could do that. Denise Duffield-Thomas, who is one of the biggest money mindset coaches on the planet at the minute, loads of books out. She does obviously book tours. She does like sessions on stage, but she knows she is introverted. She has to recharge after that. So her outlet is she's bought herself a farm, and it's like a craft farm, and she knows that's her safe space, that's her haven. That's because she's introverted. She needs that recharge area. So think about for yourself. If you're introverted as well, don't be looking at other entrepreneurs who are extroverted and think, I need to be doing what they're doing. No, you don't. You're an introvert. People will be attracted to you in your highest power. So if you are being natural and in alignment with who you are, your energy will be giving that off. So don't panic about if you're watching other entrepreneurs and you're thinking, God, Rachel is live constantly. She's doing all of this stuff. She's on Clubhouse. Yeah, because I'm extroverted. I can cope with that. I know where my skills lie. I don't then, for me, the detail side of the business, I have to hand off. I get my assistant to do that because that is her skill set. That is what she enjoys to do. She keeps me in line. She gives me structure. She gives me a business plan. That is not my forte because I'm not detail orientated. So I will do all the lives and I'll do all the things that boost my energy. So if you're an introverted entrepreneur, don't think that you have to be doing all of that. If you want to video something and put that out in the comfort of your own home and you know you're not getting that interaction or constant questioning or whatever it is, then do that. Understand yourself to see where you're comfortable at, what is the best way your life works, and how your energy is best. Because our energy, this source, this life source that we have in us, is what attracts more. If you're not feeding your energy the right stuff, you're actually resisting it. So your energy will be getting flatter and your vibration will be going lower. And you literally are not going to be manifesting the things that you want into your life. So I hope this session's helped you and really give you a bit on a different take, really. I thought I'd bring some of my leadership stuff in so that you can use it to help improve your life. So it's a subject I am so passionate about. And I know some of you might be thinking, I don't want to do a personality test. I'm not being put in a box. And that's fine. That's up to you. But as long as you start to understand how you work, how you tick, what's the best way for you to restore your energy? Because I definitely think as women, we put everybody else first, even above our own energy. And I did that for years. Like I said, I would feed my energy into trying to fix my husband's mood. I would feed my energy into trying to help everyone. And I wouldn't be getting anything back. So I wouldn't be getting the interaction. I would just be feeding everyone else. And I was just giving away my energy and giving away my power. But I claim that back now. If somebody else is in a mood around me, that's for them to regulate. I don't get involved. I'm an empath, so I know I need to put my protective cloak on. I need to close it and just keep my energy within myself, because that is my life force. That is my manifesting power. And that is what I need to do to protect myself. And I don't feel guilty. And I am not getting involved in anybody else's lessons or anybody else's energy, because it's not for me to get involved. All I can do is concentrate on mine and concentrate on me. And that may seem selfish to people who are so used to helping everybody, but it's the way I claim my power back, and I'm actually in a better space to help more people. So I hope you took even just that out of it, that your energy is your superpower. So protect it with your life. And on that note, I think I'll finish. So like I said, I'm doing the Human Design Masterclass with Rebecca Daly. Everyone who's in the membership gets that for free. So you've got a couple of options if you want to join it. You can obviously sign up to the membership, and then you get each month's masterclass, and it's actually cheaper doing it that way. Or you can sign up to the one-off masterclass. So I'll put all the links in the bottom, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you do the personality test and find out a bit about yourself, because it's so insightful. And let me know what you find out. Come and join the Facebook group and tell me all about it. I literally can't wait to hear what you've learned from this podcast, because it is, honestly, I love this subject. I hope you can tell I'm so passionate about it. I'm so passionate about people understanding themselves to improve their life. It is just what I do. So if you want any more help on it, you want me to go through the personality test, you can obviously book a session with me. You could, there's so many ways I can help you with this. So please just get in touch and we'll work something out. And I can't wait to speak to you and hear everything you've learned. And I will catch you on next week's episode. Thanks. Bye. I really hope that episode has helped, and it's good to revisit an old one from the past. But if you want to hear more about your own personality profile, how it affects your relationships, how you can use it to improve your sales in your business, how you can use it as an entrepreneur to step into your leadership ability, and so much more, please reach out. I have this personality profile that you can now use, and I deep dive into one-to-one sessions with you so that you too can use this tool to change everything. If you want more information, email me via the link in the show notes. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you next week.